say so. The engineer says go, and it's Viewpoint.
And here we are.
And it's Wednesday morning. And this is Judith K. Busby to my right, and we have some distinguished guests here this morning.
See, they really do speak English very well. They got that.
Andrea picked up on that right
away. Yes.
Well, let's see. I think we have to have a special introduction of these folks this morning. We got a long program. We're going to dispense with a lot of the stuff that we wanted to do. Do have some announcements to make, but we've got just a minute here. It's going to come. Here we are. Program, and that program, with that, I will let you introduce our guest because you have the spreadsheet in front of you,
yes.
Mrs. Busby.
Doc, that's your kind of music, Carlos, is that right?
Yes.
Very good.
Famous, yeah.
Yes, well, good. Carlos Marcel do Couto Costa.
Easy for you to say.
Yes. And Andrea Noato. Okay. Well, welcome. How are you liking your trip, and is it your first trip to the United States?
Well, mine, it's my first time in the U.S. Andrea has already been here. We just arrived yesterday in Bloomington. Well, we flew to Atlanta and then to Bloomington. So we had our first day in Lincoln, which is a very beautiful city, very nice people we met. And when we just arrived in Lincoln, we were just saying, oh, it looks like American movies. It's typical American city with the flags in the front.
Yes,
very beautiful.
yes.
Very
We're big on flags around here. I think, Judith K., it might be appropriate if we explain to our listening audience the reason for these young folks being with us today. They're here in America as a part of the Rotary Group Exchange Program. That's an international program that's been going on for years. And in fact, this country had an exchange group, maybe it was this district perhaps, had an exchange group down in Brazil, and they were down there for a period of time, and then they accompanied these folks back. And Carlos and Andrea represent, there are two of them, and they're going to represent 3 or 4 more that are out in the anteroom, and we're going to bring them into our Commodio studio in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
But we like to have, we're glad to have you folks with us. Carlos, can you tell us your perspective of this group exchange program? Tell us how that works with you.
Well, I have already been in a youth exchange program hosted by Rotary. I was in India for 1 year, and I was also for 2 months in France and 2 months in Denmark. So actually it's my 4th experience with Rotary. So the objective of this program is to so people from all nationalities have a relationship, and so we come to another country to see its culture, to meet people, and so it's an excellent opportunity as well to see how our profession is done in another country, and it's very nice opportunity for all these members.
And tell us your profession, please, sir.
Okay. My profession, I am a technical buyer. I work for Stora Enso, which is a paper mill. So I started working with international paper. I know you have an office in Lincoln.
We do.
So then Stora Enso bought the mill I'm working for now. So we make magazine paper, and we are the only paper, LWC paper in Latin America. So we produce 200,000 tons of paper per year. I am in charge of raw material acquisitions, imports, freights, and logistics.
Well, how long will you be here with us, your group, this time?
We are staying for 30 days in Illinois, and we are staying in Lincoln until Friday morning.
Andrea, no, you asked us, Andrea says she's not as bilingual as some of the other folks here. However, I just thinking how much that lady looks like Dr. Betsy Ulrich.
Yes, she does.
Remarkably so.
That's a compliment. That's
a compliment.
good.
Your profession, please.
Yes, I got my graduation in veterinary medicine, and then after that I got my master's degree in toxicology. So some years later, I decided to change my profession, and I started to work in a company that produce pesticides. And now I'm in charge of regulation and regulatory affairs in this company. So I prepare the documents and all kind of study that we need to submit to the government.
Are you both from big cities then, or are you from smaller towns?
I live in a small town. There are 25,000 inhabitants. But most of the people live on the countryside, so the city is very small.
And how about you, Andrea?
Yeah, my city is a medium size. Londrina is not too large like São Paulo, but it's not too small like Carlos City. So it's a medium
I don't think that young lady needs to apologize for her ability to speak English.
No.
Not a bit.
How do you feel
doing
about?
very well, my dear.
Thank you.
How do you feel about us? There are countries who feel that we're a little bit self-centered, because
Not a little bit.
everybody should learn to speak English, and we don't think it's up to us to speak anybody else's language. Do you think we're kind of self-centered, selfish?
No, I think English is the main language around the world nowadays, and everyone around the world is speaking English.
Yes.
I know, but the smart educational systems, which are everywhere but here, they teach English in their home school systems, and we don't do that here. We're very poor about that.
Okay.
You have a substantial number of your fellow citizens who are bilingual. We do not have a substantial number of Americans who are bilingual by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
That's a weakness in our educational system. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, where do you go next now? You won't spend your entire time here. You said you'd be leaving.
Yeah.
Where will you go?
We are staying in Lincoln until Friday morning. Then we go to Bloomington for some days. Then Champaign. Then we are going
Danville.
We are spending some days in Chicago as well. We go to Springfield, St. Louis as well.
Yes.
Well, you're going to see the big and the small.
Yes.
We being the small. Yes.
And you just got in just yesterday, so your schedule is really very well crammed.
Yes.
It's a full schedule.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we're very happy to have folks here in town. We've done this before on occasion. If you'll recall, there was a group here that wasn't a Rotary. What was it? A group here that had foreign nationals in, and for quite some
There
time.
were French that came
yes,
one time,
yes, that's what it
teachers
was.
that came. We had a teacher at our house. We had a Brazilian student through Rotary a number of years ago, and they were from Sao Paulo.
Okay.
Yes, And you're having Carnival down there now?
It was on
March.
March.
Yeah, March 4th.
In March.
Yeah. I don't know. Sempre em fevereiro.
It's always in February, but this year it was in March. Well,
Yes.
it depends on Easter.
Yes.
Which is very late this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you have a celebration in your towns as well as the big cities?
Yes, but it's a small celebration. The largest one is in Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo.
Yes.
Is there one particular thing that you wanted to see when you knew that you were coming here into Central Illinois? Was there one particular thing that you had in mind that you wanted to try to see?
Well, we have chosen some activities to see. We are very interested in visiting the Lincoln Museum in Springfield, which is very famous, and the famous University of in Champaign, Illinois University, which is also famous all over the world.
Yes.
And you'll love the museums in Chicago too. I hope you get to go to both science and industry and the Field Museum.
Okay.
So there are just all kinds of things to see in Illinois, and your entire time is obviously spent in Illinois. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what do you think? Well, you don't know, actually, because you haven't been on the road yet, other than to come from Bloomington. You're going to see an awful lot of fields.
Yes.
Yes, much corn and beans.
Yes.
Well, now they have a lot of soybeans down there.
Yes.
You grow a lot of soybeans in Brazil.
Yes. Soybeans and cotton and corn too.
I was just checking
Yes.
on the climate down there. Their average temperature down there is 77.
That's so it must feel a little chilly to you today.
Yeah, this morning was a bit. We were just converting. It was 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and for us it's 80 degrees Celsius, which is winter.
Oh dear, yes.
But that's okay.
Oh, it's too bad you weren't here for the snow.
Yeah, it would be great.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
think
because
you're
we
lucky.
don't
I'm
have
glad you
snow
weren't.
in Brazil. Yeah.
Tell me, you've elected a new president this year.
Yes.
President Dilma Rousseff? Is that the name?
Rousseff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rousseff. Yes.
Rousseff.
And I was impressed by the fact that they have mandatory voting down there between the ages of 18 and 70 for illiterates. And if you're an illiterate, it can be optional voting. And that's very interesting. Mandatory voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a terrible percentage of people who do not vote in this country.
Mm-hmm.
We just had an election the other day, a small election here for small officials and so forth. 16% of the populace turned out.
There it's mandatory, and even let's say that you are traveling, you must go to the place where you vote, and then you have to say why you are not voting.
Yes.
Oh,
But it's mandatory. If
Yes.
you don't say, let's say that you are not in your, because you can vote only in your town. If you are out of the town, then you must go to the place in the other town, the place specific place, and you have to say why you are not voting.
Justify.
Yeah, justify it.
Why are you not voting?
And the most impressive is that Brazil has now 180 million inhabitants, and we have the results of the election in 2 days. So everything is electronic.
Yeah.
We don't vote in paper anymore.
This is impressive.
And it was the first country in the world which had this electronic system for voting.
were you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are there about 4 major parties? Is that essentially correct? Am I right about that? Like we have primarily 2 major parties here. I believe there are 4 down there. Is that about right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very interesting. Well, we're going to take a break now because we want to bring your associates in with us, and we'll take a commercial break at this time.